The Halls of Amenti is a video I've been wanting to do for a very long time because it's very important that we understand about the Halls of Amenti, to know what they are. And there's not many of us out there that can explain it. We kind of know it, but we kind of don't. And there's not an awful lot of information out there which directly explains to you exactly what the Halls of Amenti are, you know? Now, I'm going to share with you the gospel according to Marie, like I always say, but this is a real powerful teaching video from my perspective, because this kind of encompasses all the years that I have studied and read up on and channeled and felt into and kind of reflected on with my experience of the Halls of Amenti. So the Halls of Amenti are very much, well, they're very Egyptian for a start, but they come from the lands of Atlantis. And the keeper, like kind of like the guardian of the Halls of Amenti, is actually Anubis. Now, Anubis is an Egyptian god, which is half jackal, half human. He is a god that doesn't say much at all. He's very quiet, but he's very big in his presence, and he's a powerful protector god. Now, when he was in Atlantis, he was a very powerful high priest, and he was the keeper of secrets, which kind of makes sense as to why he stands at the doorway of the Halls of Amenti like so. So also as well, the Halls of Amenti deeply connected to Thoth. So those of you that have kind of deep dived into the teachings and the readings and everything like that of the, funnily enough, I forgot the book here, of the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, the Atlantean, you know, the Halls of Amenti is spoken all about, you know, through ancient tongue, you know, in there as well. And now this is the best way. This is how I can share it with you, where it might be easier to understand. So we have the Halls of Amenti and we have the Akashic Records. They're both halls of libraries in a way, okay? And they're very, very different. Now, the Akashic Records and the Halls of Amenti, one of the location points are actually located underneath the Sphinx / Great Pyramid. So for me, the Sphinx and the Great Pyramid, like, you know, there's so much we don't know about those stone beings, and there's so much we're about to know, because there's literally layers of wisdom and unconsciousness unlocking in all of us right now, because we hold these tablets of light. But what we do know is that the Halls of Amenti and the Akashic Records are beneath these beings, right? So there's tunnels and all sorts of things going on, but I'm talking more energetics, right? So the Akashic Records is a soul library. So you'll access that. That's to do with every single soul in the universe, multiverse, every single soul adventure that you have had, past, present, future, whatever, it's all there. So when we connect with the Sphinx, you know, we connect with our mission and purpose. And we tap in and we kind of like ask, make sense of like our soul journey thus far, tap into the Akashic Records, rewrite our books, maybe put some books back so they can be transmuted into the what I call the universal library, and so on and so forth. But it's to do with your soul journey. So the Halls of Amenti are very, very different. The Halls of Amenti is where you go to meet the Ascended Masters, and the Halls of Amenti is all about mastery. Now, there is so much information, and I'm going to try and keep it super simple, because there's probably going to be about part 2, 3, 4, 5 of this video. But the Halls of Amenti are, like I say, place of mastery. There's 3 stages to it. So you have the physical. All right. So one kind of level of the Halls of Amenti is all about the physical. The second stage is all about the metaphysical. So you start to understand that you're more than just a body and there's something else going on out there. And the third level is mastery. And what I love about this is I can very much equate the Halls of Amenti to Heka, which is, as we know or may not know, I work with 3 creator gods, which is Sia, the god of perception, Egyptian god of perception, and Hu, who is the god who speaks the word. He breathes the idea into being, brings the Hu into the man, divine into the physical. And then, of course, Heka, which is the explosive manifestation, magic and medicine that brings everything, you know, into mastery. So in a way, you could actually liken that alchemical template formula to exactly the same thing with the Halls of Amenti. So it's like the stage 1 physical, stage 2 realizing that you're on your way to mastery, and stage three mastery, basically. So when you call to know more about your journey, your mission, and everything like that, probably go to the Halls of goes to the Akashic Records. But the Halls of Amenti is going to give you an opportunity to call the presence of a very, very powerful ascended master, or several, and that is where you will go and meet with them. That is where you will take counsel. And they, like Merlin, Anubis, Thoth, all of the above, that's where you're going to go and meet your counsel, basically, and be guided and trained on how to attain mastery through living through the layers of being in the human consciousness. Now, in physical form. Now, this kind of leads me on to the number 7, right? So as I said, you know, like these libraries are kind of almost like energetic stargates, ethereal, you know, very much like the mystery schools. The mystery schools were never something that physically sat like, oh, there's the mystery school there with a sign on it and there's the temple. The mystery school was accessed by those that were like really like high up in their psychic ability. And they used to be able to access the vortex through that manner. So it was like almost like a portal jump into another dimension as to how they access the true mystery schools. And the halls of Amenti is kind of what we do because we're all masters at this. We just don't realize it. When we access the Akashic records, that's what we do. We kind of portal jump and go into another realm, which in this case is kind of like through the Great Pyramid and the Sphinx. Same with the halls of Amenti. So now I liken the halls of Amenti, going back to the number 7. You can cross-pollinate this and it will start to really like bring lights on inside of you because you have the 7 lords of Amenti, okay? And I'm going to go into who they are in great detail, probably in another video, but this is a great introduction. So you have the 7 lords of Amenti. Now I kind of sense and feel they're also 7 pyramid priests that also held the tablets of light when everything came crashing down. Thoth passed on these tablets of light to 7 priests, right? Now the question is, are the 7 lords possibly the 7 priests of the holding the tablets of light? And also as well, there were some very powerful demigods, super beings, which were the creator gods, which were 7 priests as well, called the Shemsu Hor. So all of these original origin creator gods, the builder gods that came before, right from the beginning, they all just kind of lead into one another, and they also feel the same to me as well. So 777, all of these correlations of 7, right? Now think about it. 7 days completes a week, right? Took 7 days to, you know, create the world, so they say. Now, 7 days is a completion number, right? So we can look at it in every which way, you know what I mean? But also as well, I've got a list here that I'm going to share with you. Now, let's move into the 7. So you have the 7 powers of the ego, which is very, very much Mary Magdalene teachings. You have the 7 sorrows. You have the 7 scorpions of Isis, which is all about protection and everything like that. You have the 7 sisters, the 7 standing stones. Now, 7 standing stones is access to the divine feminine, 7 chakras, 7 stars of the Pleiades, 7 Hathors, the 7 priestesses of Egypt, and the 7 cosmic planes, 7 highest paths. I mean, the list goes on. But here's the big one, 7 gates of Osiris. Now we go back to Egypt again. So the 7 gates of Osiris and all of these things that I'm basically sharing with you, especially the 7 standing stones, they all speak about the underworld, right? Because that's where the halls of Amenti are. They are in the underworld, right? So for us to ascend, we must descend. We must be okay with going down into the womb, dying, surrendering, so we can come into rebirth and then resurrect, right? Until we are okay with that process, we stay in purgatory. So if we want to go back to the halls of Amenti and understand the halls of Amenti are a place of understanding, learning, attaining mastery and how to live this life successfully to ascension, we then come back to the 7 lords of Amenti, which sidesteps into the 7 gates of Osiris. Now, to keep the 7 gates of Osiris super simple, that's basically 7 stages of initiation. So you would go through, remember with Egypt and everything like that and their mythology and their stories and everything like that, that was to do with when you died, you basically got sent to the weighing of the heart, where Thoth would be present, Anubis would be present, the weighing of the feather with Ma'at to see if your heart was basically lighter than the feather. And if it wasn't, then we have a problem. You know what I mean? Now, if your heart was lighter and you'd lived a good life and you, as a pharaoh or whoever you were, you'd led your people, you brought joy, you gave joy, you've lived in a life of joy, then you got access to the next level of the planes, but you had to go through the 7 gates to be able to arrive with the god Osiris, god of paradise. That's basically the ascension process, but you go through those 7 gates. So everything, you know, and there's also the 7 gates of Inanna as well. So you can actually start researching this and it all just feeds in to exactly the same thing. Ascension for descension, living in this physical life, even bringing the labyrinth into it, the ancient labyrinth, which is very much seen on all of the stone structures in Avalon and everything like that. The labyrinth is exactly the same as as the halls of Amenti. It's a place you go to, right, to complete and run the gauntlet, right? So imagine it like the labyrinth. Imagine it like a maze where you're running and you're like, okay, this is my life. Oh, I've hit a brick wall. Can't go this way. Turn around where possible. Your GPS, turn around, go back, and then figure it out another way, right? Now, I've actually written it down here about the labyrinth meaning, okay? Now, it's an ancient sacred symbol, and it's been used for thousands of years. And this is very much, stay with me here, this is very much to do with the halls of Amenti. So the labyrinth represents a wholeness. So when looking for a tool of contemplation and transformation through meditation or prayer, the labyrinth is ideal. Okay, so that's on a surface level. Symbolically, it basically pilgrims used to use the labyrinth, and people can walk the path ascending towards enlightenment. So that is what a labyrinth is. Now, this is the thing. The Glastonbury Tor sits on top of a big hill. On the top there is a labyrinth that goes all the way around that leads you up to the Tor. There is a bench that sits on a certain part of that hill, which is actually an entry point to the halls of Amenti. So is the halls of Amenti just brought in just to Egypt alone? Absolutely not. No, there is entry points to the halls of Amenti everywhere. Mount Sinai, Mount Shasta. There's lots of places where you can access technically what we're talking about, the underworld. So when you navigate the underworld, and the Egyptians talk about this a lot, and ideally you're going into the womb, ideally you're going into the place of darkness to face your shadow and to get it right, attain mastery. Okay, so now the other way that I can explain the halls of Amenti is you get placed here completely memory wiped, absolutely no idea of who you were, what you had, what you have in your blueprint, what superpowers, whatever. That is the job of being here in physical form, to remember that by walking the labyrinth, by walking through the halls of Amenti. So every trial and error will reveal to you another layer of your blueprint, because it's a game. Capital GAME, as the law of one, those beings, they always speak about the game, capital GAME, because this is exactly what it is. So can you run the gauntlet, and can you complete the game? So this is where I believe we are in our ascension terms, as in this is again the gospel according to Marie. So here we are. We come into the halls of Amenti as we are born, right? Zero memory of anything that we've got. We need to figure that out. What we do have within us, right? Our superpowers and everything like that. We've got to understand our mission, our purpose. So we walk and we go through traumas, and we go through pains, and we go through terrible things that essentially we just think is happening to us. That's stage one of the halls of Amenti. Before we're awakened, we're like, my life's just shit. Stuff's coming at me. I don't feel comfortable with any of this going on. This is awful and traumatic, and there's no way out. That is stage one. Remember, the physical, right? Once we've had enough of that, we then go on to stage two, and we get so much shit flung at us. We go through so many dark nights of the soul. We start to reach for something else other that's in the physical world through desperation. And we start to say and question, gosh, there's got to be something else than this. And we start to reach for source and spirit, right? That's where our awakening starts to come in. So it's very much ordained and planned by you. So we go into the second stage of metaphysical. So we now start to understand that our experiences are beyond our physical. We understand that we do have maybe a little bit of power about us. Maybe we're not just a physical body. That's where we go into stage two of mastery. Mastering this life is a spiritual being in physical form. So then as we move to stage three, we are on our spiritual path now. We're figuring it out. We go along the path, we fall down again. Do you know what I mean? We go back to the beginning, got to start again. And we're like, oh gosh. So we keep moving forward, coming back, moving forward ever such a lot more, and then coming back just a little, and then really going far, and then maybe falling back a little bit until we get to the point where we've actually nailed it. We're like, I figured this out, enlightenment. I understand what this is all about. I got it. I understand the Hermetic principles. I understand the spiritual laws. I'm working with them. I've now got everything I need to play the capital GAME, the game, and then you just fly, and then you complete. Now, this is what they speak about, that we will ascend in this life. You will complete the halls of Amenti in this life. Because usually once we complete the halls of Amenti, we don't get far enough. We get stuck halfway through the halls, and then we basically die, and we got to come back and do it all over again. But this lifetime, we've been granted, because karma's been cleared for those that have chosen it, those that have basically, done the work, like we get to complete the whole labyrinth, and we go all the way through, and then we complete it. And then what do? Well, we're still alive in physical body. Do we just sit here and just be all enlightened? No, we go back to the beginning, and we go and collect the others, which are all stood there going, don't know what this is, can't figure it out, don't know where I'm going with this. Do you see what I'm saying? And then we bring more with us. This is why it's an unprecedented time that we're living in right now, because of this. So the other way I'd like to explain this to you is a really, really good game of snakes and ladders. So you start, you go up the ladder, something happens, you slide back down one level. You're like, oh man, throw the dice. Life. So you go again, and then you go along your little level, and then you're like, yes, get your gold coins. You go up another level, and then another level, and you're like, I'm motoring now, figured this out. And then all of a sudden you get body slammed because something takes you out, and you go back just 3 levels. Go up 5, come back 2. Go up 6, come back 1. And then you get the gist until you get to the top. That is mastery. To be able to complete a whole level of Donkey Kong, I'm really talking about being a 1970s baby now, to really complete the levels of Donkey Kong or those video games. How many times did we play it? Pac-Man, again and again and again. Oh my God, go back to the beginning. How many lives have I got? Lost my lives. Got to go back in again. So this is no different to a video game. I mean, really. But we have unlimited goes at this. But this lifetime in the halls of Amenti, we get to go all the way through to the end. So with the 7 gates of Osiris, it's the same thing, because there's many mini gates, if you like, that kind of go with each initiation. So gate 1, you have to know what the goddess's name or the keeper's name, you have to know their name, because remember, knowing somebody's name is power. So you have to kind of like pass all these tests and everything like that. And then there's all these other little mini tests and everything. And so eventually when you complete a gate, then you get access to the next one. And that's kind of the same thing. It's initiation after initiation after initiation. Now, initiation is a powerful test to go through, sometimes very painful and intense, but you come out the other side and you go, wow, I face my fear now. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and you will go up through the chakras. So remember, when Yeshua did all of his training in Egypt, he started at the bottom of the Nile. Like we all do, Abu Simbel, whatever. And you've got to go through the initiations, which is all to do with the lower chakra stuff. When you get to the heart and up, that's all to do with your upper chakra stuff, to do with like the initiations, to do with the cosmos and stuff. So you'll be challenged with your fear. You'll be challenged with are you really, really that connected to material stuff? What are you clinging to in this life? Who are you clinging to in this life? This is all lower chakra initiations, lower chakra halls of Amenti stuff. So if you want to break down in your life where you're at, are you still stuck that you think you're only physical? Probably not if you're watching this video, because that means that something else is going on, or you're stuck in that middle layer. But either way, you are in the halls of Amenti. So how do we kind of like work with this? And this is a real basic introduction to this. And I would suggest, which is what I do, start to get comfortable with the dynamic of what I'm suggesting here, of being really proactive with working with these ancient templates, which was always been there. It's always been there. And you can now sit here in meditation and you can call forth. First of all, call forth Anubis. Call in the divine presence of this beautiful being and allow him to come. Now, with respect and honor, we ask his permission for him to grant us access to the halls of Amenti. So we close our eyes and we just sit and, admission is granted. And as you get there, you then start to give your intention to the master that you would like to meet with. You may know this master. I'm closing my eyes as I say this. You may know this master. It may be Lord Merlin, Master Merlin. It may be Thoth. It may be even Sekhmet. It may be a council that you are aware of, but you don't necessarily know the names. Or it may be just an angel, or not just, it could be an archangel, but you see what I'm saying? It's going to be an ascended master, a powerful teacher of some sort. So also as well, what you could do with this is just go into the halls of Amenti, allow yourself to descend when you do this as well. So you're actually going to go into the descension into the halls. And then obviously, yeah. So it's, remember, the halls of Amenti are underground. It's in the womb. It's down there. So it may be that you might be a little bit challenged to just being there full stop. So it may be just sitting there would be enough. But then once you're comfortable of going there, you know, you place your hands on your sacral chakra or womb or both. And, you know, if obviously if you're a man, it's going to be sacral chakra. If you're a woman, it's a womb, you know what I mean? And just really connect with that energy and just basically go into the earth, into the ground. And then ask Anubis, enter, and just have a conversation. Don't overthink it. Just speak to them and just, you know, whatever needs to come. Sometimes if you don't have a question, just allow them to bring forth what you need to know. But you've walked into a very, very powerfully sacred place. And that is where like I say, the 7 Lords of Amenti are. And there's going to be much wisdom that you're going to unlock there. And this is a very powerful place to call in, to go to when you go into sleep time as well, because you drop the body and you move out your way of yourself. So when you wake up in the morning, you might have a powerful something that you need to journal. So this is a very, very powerful way to work with the halls of Amenti. And this is very, like I say, deeply connected to Thoth, deeply connected to Anubis. But don't get it twisted. If you see yourself entering the halls of Amenti from a different place in the world, there are portals open everywhere. And I'm finding out more and more and more of where those are, the more I kind of go on my journey, you know. So yeah, so I've just written here the labyrinth, which is basically located on the rocks, like especially if you travel to England and Avalon. I'm going to Avalon soon, so when I find those, I'm going to take a picture and I'm going to share, because it's like I question that if there is an ancient labyrinth etched on that wall there, if we held a hand and asked permission, I believe we could gain entry there. I really do. From our ancient wisdoms of being a druid and everything like that, I believe that these labyrinth symbols that have been posted there, you know, on or scratched into the rock, I believe that they're entry points to the halls of Amenti. So this is very, very powerful remembrance. So play with this, see how you go. You know what I mean? And just like, you know, just be respectful. Honor, because you're dealing with Anubis now and you're dealing with the ascended masters. Even as I speak, I feel very sort of tall in my stature, and you know, you go in humbly, you know what I mean? So I'm going to leave that there. Leave in the comments any experiences you have and any questions you have, because this is a video I've been wanting to do for so long, but it's very in depth and this is very much like a teaching masterclass. So you might want to come back and listen to it again and take your own notes and maybe go on your own journey, because it's such an ambiguous, not a matter of fact kind of thing I'm talking about, that I think each and every one of us has our own relationship with this, which is why I've for years have studied this and channeled this and sat with it. And I still don't fully understand it to the point where I think each ascension layer I go through, I think it will be revealed more and more and more of the understanding of what this is all about. So powerful, magical stuff. And yeah, thank you for watching and tuning in, and let me know how you get on. Peace.